Donald Cerrone. So, should he retire? That's the question on the lips of many people, including myself. I'm wondering, after his performance at UFC VEGAS 26 against Alex Morono, and I thought the fight would be close, but I think I was more or less leaning in the direction of Alex Morono. If I wanted to make a decision, if I was a betting person, and if I wanted to, to make a decision if I was going to place some money on the fight, who would win. I was going to place my bet on Alex Morono. He's a younger fighter, 31 years old, and Donald Cerrone is now entering the territory of retiring from the sport of mixed martial arts. He is now 38, 39, 37 years old, so it's not too far from 40, but is in that territory now that most fighters do retire from the sport. Of course, you do have some exceptions, such as Glover Teixeira, who are still to this day. I think Teixeira is about 40, 41, 42 years old. He's still competing. So the fight was the beginning of the fight against with Donald Cerrone against Alex Morono. At the beginning of the fight, Cerrone did look like he dominated the fight with the first clinch in the first round. Alex Morono was throwing some really a lot of shots, really heavy punches in the first round, really giving it his all, really, really hard. Halfway through the first round, to me it did look like Donald Cerrone was getting quite fatigued and tired. And his shots again, just slightly, just his movements, overall movements wasn't really as sharp as say Alex Morono's movements were. So I could tell, even by this point, he had taken some damage. I think his nose was bleeding from his face, and just there was just heavy right hand that Morono just landed, and just from there started snowballing. From there, I think Donald Cerrone just had his guard up, was trying to, not attacking, but was trying to defend his head, his face as best as he could, and Morono just dishing out counter strikes, shots, jabs here and there, and the referee had to step in to stop the fight stop the fight from continuing. But one thing I did see in that, and I think it's kind of similar to the Alistair Overeem fight that we had December or January now? I think it was January of this year, when Alistair Overeem fought Alexander Volkov. I can't remember the particular name of the UFC event that it was, but I could see in that fight, likewise in this fight, but not so much with Donald Cerrone. I mean, Cerrone is a few years younger than Overeem. But in that fight, I could see that Overeem really couldn't recover from the shots that he was getting from Alexander Volkov. And even after that fight, in his Twitter, he stated he's not going to retire. He's going to go away, have a break, recharge, rest, retrain, spend some time with the family, just freshen up, refreshing, recharge his batteries, and going to come back to compete. And Donald Cerrone is more or less said the same thing. And Donald Cerrone, I haven't tracked the record of Alistair Overeem, but Overeem has a very long record, fought with so many organizations around the world. He's fought in the sport for such a long time. Cerrone has fought for a long while in the sport, especially I think within the UFC. He's had about, I think I wrote this down somewhere. He's had quite a long run in mixed martial arts. But I mean, Donald Cerrone now has about 5 or 6 fights in his past fights that he's lost. I think one of those fights was a no contest, but even then, that doesn't help him because it's no win for him in his books. So many people, I say many people, but I have been thinking. I'm of the opinion, excuse me, I am of the opinion that more than likely, potentially, the UFC could cut him because having 5 or 6 losing fights, at least for your most recent fights, that is not good at all. You go down the rankings, and overall, just without getting too technical, that's just not good luck. It's just not good for you as a fighter, as an athlete. So if he is cut from the UFC, if he's made to leave by force, instead of him retiring from the sport, potentially I think he's still going to go to another organization, either it's Bellator One Championship or PFL, preferably maybe Bellator. Because he's really got the name and the sort of like star power of fighting for so long within the UFC. And but at the moment now, I think he's the time of fighting for the biggest fighting organization on earth has probably potentially run its course, even though he's saying that he's refusing to retire. And even though it's really vague in that post-fight press conference interview, I mean, overall, he's saying that he's not going to retire from the sport anytime soon anyway. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can say about that. Just looking at the fighting record, I was quite surprised. There's quite a few losses here for the past most recent fight. So this particular fighter needs a win for the next fight that they're going to compete in.